from Master Kingdom. I'm here with Psychotic Gardening with Chuck and Andrew. Well, welcome back to Toronto.
Thanks very much. It's good to be here.
So I understand you guys had some car troubles. How are you guys doing with that now?
Well, it's been a couple of very, very difficult days to get here. We had 2 shows we've had to cancel due to 2 different episodes. Maybe a small thing to overcome. Well, all today was just work to get here today, and we did it. So we're just really glad to be playing. We have a lot of aggression to get out on stage tonight. So
can't wait to see that. We're happy to have you here too.
Thanks very much. It's good to be here. For us, this is Winnipeg's a smaller city compared to this, so it's pretty mind-blowing when you're coming to Toronto.
Yeah.
Oh shit, which highway are you supposed to take?
I'm pretty sure Toronto hasn't really seen a band like you guys yet, so it'll be pretty exciting to see some new sounds, some cool tones.
Cool. Well, thanks, man. I appreciate that.
So, first of all, I gotta know, where did the name Psychotic Gardening come about?
That's it. He's got to field this one.
Really?
I can't answer that. I didn't come up with it.
Yeah. Well, I guess, there's so many reasons for the name. Everything that I do, or that the band does, always has multiple meanings and stuff, right? So, I guess one of the meanings would be dealing with media, let's say. I see news outlets as psychotic gardeners, perhaps. Like they're feeding bits of information into society, which makes people act and behave a certain way, right?
So the culture of fear, per se.
Yeah. They spread culture of fear with everything, like movies, whatever. Psychotic gardening is just we represent we're talking about that kind of stuff and lifting a veil on different types of control that people have, and it's like. I guess we use metaphors and stuff like gardening with the mind. Let's say, let's say even the medical industry. Like, there's so much propaganda and stuff that people believe, and it's just like they'll tell me, oh, you got to do this. I'm like, I will definitely not do that, or you know what I mean? So it's like planting the seeds of thought into people's minds, and our minds are the fields that they, we're their crop in so many ways. Like we do things, we react on what they program us with.
So a lot of people they think it's about of gardening or actual gardening. It's more metaphorical to the term, as a psychological mind sort of thing.
See, another thing that's it's different than other names. Like it's a little more like creative. Like you're asking me what it means. Hey, blah blah blah, right? Yeah. So it's not like I don't know, broken tooth or devil mind or I don't know. Names. There's a million different death metal names or whatever, right? So it's different. And people, what the hell is that?
Decapitated something,
everything, morbid or whatever.
Yeah, or anal vomit or some shit.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, something like anal vomit is that's too harsh. Like, I'm not want to present, like I'm not a gore guy or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's, but yeah, it's like there's a million different of the same, and we don't want to be the same. We want to be different, so whatever.
Well, yeah, that's really cool.
Long-winded answer, but yeah, it's just, I go crazy because there's a million different reasons, and I'm trying to pick the right one, to talk about.
And they only scratch the surface, so.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
Well, one day I'll have to sit down with you to explain all the.
Absolutely, man. Yeah.
So I actually love that. It's very interesting.
Yeah. So including the symbolism in some of our song titles, like you may notice they're all starting with H, right? And H is album names. Yeah, the album names. Not titles of songs, right? The album names, right? Start with H's. And there's numerical representatives. Like I do everything about numbers and symbolism and stuff, so you can see a lot of that. And we can talk about that at some point too. Yeah. Just to,
I'll go with you after the show.
Absolutely.
Getting closer, you will still be
too. You guys have a really unique way of presenting heavy metal and death metal and black metal. So I gotta know, what got you guys into metal?
For me, it was Iron Maiden. Seeing the way they did everything, the way they performed, how cool their shirts were, how cool their stage performance was. The stage was with Pyramids and Eddie, how awesome that was, how energetic they were, and the passion and the intelligence behind the lyrics, and all of that together was like, man, that's
For me, it was similar. Like Iron Maiden, for sure, was one of my biggest influences in this first era because we went through all the eras of heavy metal, thrash metal, and death, and all that, right? But for me, it was like hearing like Iron Man from Black Sabbath on the radio. It's like, oh my God, that's like evil, and the song Black Sabbath, and then you got your Judas Priest and your Iron Maidens, and
Yeah, and then when Metallica showed up, like
and thrash came around.
When Bastard Puppets was out, it was like it showed us. I think for me, it was Maiden made me want to do it. Metallica at the time was like, well, that's more of how I'm going to play guitar in that sense. Just the sensibilities of how you make a guitar sound that heavy. But of course, Metallica.
And I think it's also what we enjoy is the frequencies that the sounds make. Like you notice most music is being down-tuned lower and lower nowadays, right? I think they're doing something to our to human hearing, or maybe not they, but let's say the planet, the way things are going. Like we're lowering stuff that's we're changing everything, like the way we listen to music, right?
Yeah.
So I think for us guys, we always like metal, and we're attracted to metal when we're growing up because you hear these frequencies, and like stuff that Iron Maiden did. Nobody did that before. Metallica did. Nobody did that before, and you know what I mean. And it keeps moving. So I think that's really relevant. Guys like us like certain frequencies, and other people go, it's a bunch of noise, but it's not noise to us. We hear rhythms and we hear all this.
Both of you guys are guitar players.
Yeah, we're both the guitar players in the band. He does all the leads, we both do rhythms, and we both write. He writes his leads, but we both write rhythms.
So as guitar players, like, who are your favorite guitar players? Who influenced you to do what you do?
Yeah, there's a lot of guys. I mean,
of course.
It's for me, it was the Priest Maiden dual guitar thing was a big influence in me for sure. The James Hetfields, Dave Mustaine for sure. And then you have all kinds of lead guys, like even a guy like Joe Satriani for me, in terms of phrasing and singing and using his guitar as a voice, right? So that kind of stuff. But there's lots of guys. I mean, like Marty Friedman, and it goes on and on. Time guy, there was Zach, whatever. All those guys, all these great guitar players that everybody knows about. But you kind of take a little bit and guitar players with good leads. And there's something a lot of those guys have similar. They know how to phrase things. They know how to construct a lead. Like Randy Rhoads, let's say.
Yeah.
Man, every lead that fell off his fingers was like, wow, that's classic. Like it's so good, and just the way he constructed that. So certain guys which will teach you about composition, certain guys will teach you about feel, and you absorb it, and then when you're playing music, you don't overthink that stuff. You try and feel yourself.
Yeah.
You get your chops together and you do that, and you try to emote it from. My playing comes from here, not here.
Yeah.
So mine's a little different than him. He told you a bunch of guys that are lead guys, great, and I loved a lot of them. Like growing up, I was like Randy Rhoads, I loved Randy Rhoads, right? But I was more of a guy that was like, because I can't play leads, but I can play rhythms, right? And I never concentrated on leads, so I was a guy that Tom Warrior from Celtic Frost, one of my biggest influences. Right? Love him, man. What he writes, just chooses great stuff, you know. And then James Hetfield, because he sings and plays, and I was like, I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
You know?
Plus like the aggressive chugging.
Oh, definitely, right? So for me, it's always been guys like that, and Tony Iommi because of his riffs and shit. So I've always been more of that like rhythm, like even like Scotty and he's down picking like I'm like, hey, I gotta down pick that faster. So for me, it was that. That's why we work good together, you know. And you always had the rhythm thing because of the Hetfields. And
Yes, well, that's what when we play together, we sort of went through a lot, like each separately went through a lot of the same eras, and when we play together, it's like when we started playing together, we're like, oh, you understand all those nuances.
Yeah.
Good. I've spent my entire life trying to get on the same page with a guitar player, so that those nuances were there. With Chuck and I, we just go, oh yeah, you're doing this thing, cool.
do that fun thing with the
Yes, yeah, there's a whole bunch of nuances that
I'm a guitar player, right? So I'm all for that.
yeah. And it's like when little subtleties are happening and there's like little swells or we just do one chug the right way, the same way, so it's hitting you the same way and it crescendos and sucks out at the same time. All those things just make it sound so heavy. If it's broken, if it's like a
fuck it up, it's like,
or if it's like all that
Tom
stuff
Warrior
is
does a
like,
lot of that, like great, like
not to get too like detailed,
No,
about it,
for
but
sure,
it's
like,
like nuances make things sound so heavy, so good, you know.
Yeah, like a lot of people don't really know that. They think chug is chug, but
absolutely.
there's a huge theory to it, right?
I believe that too.
All kinds of nuances. Yeah, it's like, and if your other guy on the other side isn't doing it, it kind of sucks for you on this side because it's like, it's just not sounding the same. And it's kind of like it doesn't have that big sound, that big unit behind it. Right?
Yeah. All right.
Rest in peace,
So, you guys have been playing in a band for quite some time now, right?
Yes.
So, what is your favorite part about being in a band?
Not breaking down.
Oh,
yeah, that's definitely not. No. I mean, it's playing. I mean, we love
live performance, man.
Yeah.
Because you got the audience there, right?
Yeah.
So you're like, you get to do what you love and express it like that, like, you know, get the energy going off getting off your chest, and then the audience that loves it, they absorb that energy and they give it back to you, and you just back and forth, and then we're all happy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know that.
And it's just like, and you know what? It's with us. It's also, I never got the same rush from playing someone else's tunes.
Right.
Like someone else's tune, like it's cool. It's fun. When we write our own stuff and we have our own album that's doing something, and our album's doing pretty good for us right now, and we're getting recognized, which is really cool. And when that happens, kind of the creativeness in us and the songwriting that we are, it sort of completes that circle, and then live is where that sort of connects for us, and it's awesome. That's what we do. But we still do it.
the darkness in my mind, the voices in my head have brought me together. Otherwise, everything means nothing.
So, you guys seem like well-rounded guitar players and musicians. So, do you guys have any other hobbies besides playing music, playing the video?
We do. I mean, for us, a lot of it sort of has a relation to music and playing bands. Like, I mean, I'm a journalism major and I have my own film production company now, so that takes a lot of my time and effort as well. One of the reasons I went into that was because I've written lyrics, I've written music, and the film aspect is sort of writing, and the film aspect is sort of just a way to grow out from there, right? And then I take it back in, and we do videos for stuff like that. You know, like football and hockey and stuff too, but it's all kind of, that's where I escape and take a few hours here and there away, but for me, it's all about creating. And trying to make a buck where you can make a buck, right?
For me, it's producing music, editing music, recording music,
Artwork too.
Photoshop like crazy, like all sorts of artwork. I work for different bands sometimes. I make all our shirts, all our merch, all that stuff. So I'm busy with that, writing songs and all that. So I do a lot of that, and I spend a lot of my time on that.
Yeah, when he isn't doing it, he's doing it.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's dedication, man. That's wicked.
And then I played in another band too, so I got
That's
that.
what I mean.
I got that too, and then I do all of that for the other band too, like artwork and all that shit. So it keeps me busy, but I have to do that because it's creative. You know? It's like you said, being creative is really working.
I agree with what you're saying. So for Psychotic gardening, what does the future hold for you guys?
That's a fantastic question. Well, I mean, for now, we just released our new video series title, which is, have you seen it yet?
I haven't seen it yet.
It's really creepy and dark, so check it out. It's pretty awesome. And we happened on this weird scene that gave us a storyline that we followed through and sort of made it a bit of a short film.
This is on YouTube?
It is. It just dropped earlier this week, so that's new. Yeah. And then we play Eastern Canada up to Montreal, Quebec the next week or so here, and then I think we're going home and just reevaluate. Yeah, exactly. We hope we get home, but I think we're going to take a breather and reevaluate where we want to go because we've been pushing real hard for the last number of months. And we want to do more, and we want to kind of have a second leg for Hypnosis, the new album. But we want to hit some new markets. We're going to try to do some new things and expand to some new territories we have.
All right, guys, thank you for your time. Very good. Very good talk, man. Okay. Again, I'm Aaron from Master Kingdom. Rock on.